Hi, my name is Amy, and today I'm going to be taking you through a 15-minute Pilates class focusing on mobility. So for this class, I do want you to try to set yourself up near a wall. So find somewhere with a little bit of empty wall space, and you can set your mat up pretty close to the wall to start. So we'll get started with on hands and knees, coming up towards tabletop. So spreading your fingers nice and wide, hands right underneath your shoulders and knees right underneath your hips, untucking your toes here, and just start to rock back and forth. So you're bringing your weight a little bit over the fingertips, shoulders ahead of the wrists, and then coming back almost as if towards child's pose, hips towards your heels. Spreading those fingertips nice and wide and getting the weight into your fingertips and your knuckles and not just dumping it all into your wrists. So you're almost coming into a kneeling plank as you come forward and then drawing it back. One more time like this. And then coming back into that neutral, turning your fingertips to face away from one another, so out towards the sides, still keeping them spreading wide, and then start to tick your weight left and right. So you're going past your wrists once again, keeping that weight spread throughout the entire hand. These are great ways to warm up your wrists with a Pilates practice that goes into a lot of planks and weight bearing. We're not going to get there too much today, but great exercises to turn towards. And then you're going to start to turn your fingers backwards so that your fingers are pointing towards your knees if you can. Make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows, and then almost try to push your hips back towards your heels if you can. You might not go very far here. If it's a little too uncomfortable, you can walk them closer towards your knees, playing with that distance. Last breath here, and then start to peel the heels of the hands up off of the mat, sinking your weight back onto your heels. We're gonna tuck the toes here, spreading your toes, so you might need to move those baby toes out of the way a little bit. And just starting to feel that stretch through the tops of the feet. Hands can rest onto the thighs, relaxing the shoulders down. And trying to stay with this. If it is really uncomfortable, you can untuck your toes as we start to move a little bit more here. As you inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Exhale, sighing it out. And a couple more like that. Last one. This time bring your left hand down at your side, reaching your right hand up and over. Keep pulling that right shoulder back. And then right hand comes down as the left one lifts up. Maybe gazing up at the sky if it feels okay in your neck. And then coming back to center. You can untuck your toes here. Coming onto the tops of the feet. Reach your right hand over to that left knee. And then see if you can just lift it up, getting that stretch again into the top of your left foot. Release it down. Left hand comes onto the right, lifting it up. And release it down. We're going to come back to that tabletop position and extend your right leg long, keeping your right toes down here, keeping that right hip pointing down, and then pressing back through the heels. So you're starting to get the stretch into the calf. Bending the right knee in, extending the left leg back like that, pushing back through the left heel. Bending the knee and bringing it in. So we're going to come into an extended leg variation. So I'm just going to turn towards you so that you can see me better. We're going to extend the right leg out long. So the right heel is in line with the right hip. Hands are gonna stay underneath the shoulders. We're gonna rock that weight forward and then come back towards. So just like we were doing before, but this time with the leg extended as we come back into that child's pose variation. Last one like this. And then as we come back up, I want you to see if you can lift your toes up off of the mat without dumping your weight over towards the left side. Just engaging that right glute and then lower it down. Bend your right knee in and we'll go right away to the other side. Extending the left leg out. So left heel is in line with the left hip as you rock your weight back and forth. Pressing down through the outer edge of that left foot. Last one. Coming up, see if you can lift those left toes up without dumping all of your weight over to the right. So staying strong through that right arm and lower it down, bending the knee to come in, maybe shaking the hips a little bit side to side. Now we're going to bring our knees towards one another and knock the toes out in opposite directions and try to sit back between the legs and lift it back up. Rocking back and forth with your weight, moving with your breath. Last one. Coming back to center. We're gonna move over to the wall here. So setting yourself up with your right hip alongside that the wall here, and you're gonna bring your right foot out in front of you. So your right knee is stacked over the right ankle, and you're gonna try to start with your right hand first, and you're gonna draw it up the wall, and then open up towards that wall, and then bring it back in. Lifting it up, gazing back, and then coming back forward. One more like that. Bringing it forward. Your left hand is gonna come onto the wall, and you're gonna see if you can keep your fingers on the wall as you open the chest away from the wall, and then bringing them back forward. A few more like that. Maybe getting your left shoulder to touch, and then bringing it forward. 2 more times. Last one. Bringing it forward. And we'll switch sides. Turn to face the other way. Left hip against the wall. Left knee stacked over the left ankle. And we'll start with the outer hand. So the right fingers are on the wall. And then spinning it to open up. Left hand can rest on the left thigh. Keep tracing those fingers on it. Last one. And coming back forward. Now you're going to bring that left hand in, opening towards the wall, and then bringing it forward. Last one. And coming back in. You can turn to face the wall with both hands up on the wall. So you're going to open up into a goal post here. I didn't pick the best spot here with this planter, but we're just going to move our hands up and then lower them back down, trying to keep the arms entirely engaged. And so lifting the hands up and then lowering them down. Keeping all of the forearm touching the wall as you move. One more like this. And we're going to turn around so that the back faces the wall and the shoulder blades are pressed in, and lift them up and lower them down. Notice if your rib cage wants to flare up. Try to reach those ribs down towards the ground. And keep that engagement, tucking the chin. Last one. Bringing it in. We're going to come down to lay on our mats. You'll have to let me know in the comments how you did on that, a different feeling. You can bring your hands underneath your head here, stacking them one on top of the other, and just rest your forehead onto the mat. And you're going to bend into your left knee so that your left knee is coming straight out from your left hip, and your left ankle is in line with that left knee, flexing into that foot in like a little half frog position here. And then you can see if you can lift your foot, your heel up and lower it down. So you're internally rotating through that left thigh and lower. Up and down. You can turn onto your right cheek if it feels a little bit more comfortable for you. Last one. Lowering it down. Bring that leg in and we'll switch over to the other side. So the right knee is straight out from the right hip. Right ankle from the right knee, maybe rolling over onto your left cheek here, and then see if you can lift your left heel up, internally rotating through that right hip and lower it down. Moving with your own breath. Three more. Last one. And bringing the legs in. So you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out towards the side here in like a butterfly shape. So if you've done butterfly with me in Pilates or yoga before, your knees are opening away from one another. The soles are staying together, and you're going to see here if you can lower your feet towards the ground. They most likely will not go all of the way. I definitely cannot get there. We're going to hold this one for a few slow, steady breaths. I'm just trying to relax into the sensation of the pose. And start to bring your knees back together. We're going to take the feet apart. And we're going to just drop them over towards one side and then over towards the other side, as if you're windshield wipering your legs side to side. And last one. Coming back. We're going to do a chest opener position here to cool down before we close. So opening your left arm out to the side, so you can either extend it straight out so the palm is in line with the shoulder, or you can bend elbow in line with the shoulder, making that 90-degree angle here. Trying to press your left shoulder down and then turn onto your left cheek. Your right fingers can come down to the mat, and you're going to roll over onto left ear, left shoulder, left hip. Stacking the legs one on top of the other, or you can bend into your knees, or you can step that right foot back behind you or in front of you, whichever one feels better for the low body. Just opening through that left shoulder and the chest. It can be a pretty intense pose. Breathing in and out through the nose. And start to come back in. We'll switch over to the other side, setting up with the right arm either straight out or in that 90-degree angle, pushing through the right fingers, turning on to your right ear, right shoulder, right hip, and either stacking, bending, or stepping that top foot back. Your left fingers can stay down or on the hip, and just feeling into that sensation. If it is any sort of pain, please come out of it. You may notice the two sides are very different. And slowly coming back, and pushing your way up, bringing your toes together, knees wide. You can sink your hips back into a little child's pose here for a couple of breaths. Start to lift up, walking your hands in. Thank you so much for joining me and trying out this more mobility focused Pilates class, and I'll see you again soon.